an AC problem on a Subaru 2012 all-wheel drive 4 cylinders. We have a leaking compressor right here. As you can see, it's all covered on green and stuff, or yellow. I don't know in camera you can see it, but it looks like green and yellow mixed up. So right here, as you can see, it's all wet. Right here, the timing cover, the timing belt cover is all covered on oil from the AC compressor. As you can see, the belt is so wet. So now if you look right here, this thing has no pressure, zero pressure, and it's pretty easy to take it out. So you can do it yourself on your house. You only need 12 millimeters right here, 12 mils, 10 mil for the low side and the high side line, and 12 right here, 12. You can just take this bracket off with the 14 mils right here, 14. Pretty easy to do it. We're gonna do it right now. That might take like 15 minutes to take it out, if that. It's not too hard. This thing is a well designed. It's right on top of the engine. But the only thing is, this is a clutchless compressor. This thing is pretty expensive, and if you do not want to pay a shop to do it, you do it yourself. You're gonna save a lot of money. These compressors are like $950 brand new and out of so at the dealer. I'm sure they cost a lot more, but rebuild one you can get them for 400 bucks. But I'll say don't not put a rebuild one on this, because the rebuild, they don't do it such a hot job. And this thing has a solenoid right here that open and close with the computer. So I'll say get a brand new one, and then you're gonna have no problem. So let's get to it. Take all 4 bolts out, one here, one on the bottom here. Unplug the connectors right here. This is one connection, and this is the other one. Like I said, this is a clutchless compressor. This is not the clutch. This is just a pulley that it drives the compressor inside. But you can see the leak is pretty bad on this thing. So we're gonna put a new one on. So here is the brand new compressor. As you can see, it's brand new. This is not rebuilt one. This is brand new, 950 bucks. And this is an old one. So as you can see, it comes with a whole bracket out, because it's a lot of easy to take out. Like I said, you take these wires off, put them to the back, and then it's going to be good to go. And one thing you got to remember, do not use the same O-rings. Always put a new ones. If the compressor doesn't come with it, you just buy them. They don't even they cost nothing. So this compressor comes with the O-rings right here, as you can see, and it has the oil in it. So you got to find out how much oil you put in. Every time you take the compressor out, you have to do that. So this car, I called the dealer, and they say this thing takes 5 ounces. So this thing has 5 ounces in it from the manufacturer. So I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to put it right in. But keep that in mind, that you have to find out how much oil that thing takes. And then if it doesn't have it, then you buy the oil. This is the oil for this. You buy this at AutoZone, whatever. Then you put that on, and you'll be good to go. Make sure you get the right amount of oil, because that can destroy your AC system if you put too much or less oil. So make sure you do that though. That's the, what do you call, the hard part. Sometimes it doesn't have a sticker on it. Like this car does not have any stickers. The like Honda, Toyota will tell you how much it goes. This one doesn't, but I called the dealer. You can call the dealer with the VIN number that will tell you how much it takes. And this one takes 5 ounces, like I said. So we're good to go. We're just going to install this and see what happens. Okay, so everything is in. The brand new compressor is in, plugged in, all the plugs, everything is pretty tight, brand new. O-rings are inside here on the lines. You always want to put the new ones on. And yeah, you might be like, oh, why you take the fence? So it's just more work runs, you know, in case I had to replace a pulley or something that is, I test everything. Every time I take the belt out, I always check the pulleys. If one is bad, I just replace it. But if you don't have to take it out, you just need a 15 mil wrench right here. But it's just more the space to work on it. Just whatever you like to do. And new compressor is in it. And here is the pressures right now. As you can see, nothing. So the yellow line is hooked up to the pump. Now we're going to run the pump for at least an hour. So we're going to open it. You can open all the way if you like. As you can see now, it's going down. You can open both if you like. But with the low pressure we'll do it, but you know what, just why not? Some people say just only one, some people like both, so I just open both. Doesn't matter what people want. You know, you do what you know, whatever you think is good. And you know, if you don't know, just ask your friends if they know what they're doing. But it's pretty easy though. So you don't have to pay 1,500 bucks to get it replaced. As you can see, you can do it pretty fast. And I'm using the camera on me though, so if you're not, then you're gonna take me less time. As you can see, it's pulling down to 30. That's what you want. The vacuum doing 30, so that we gotta let it run for an hour or maybe hour and a half. I gotta go get another belt, but let's see what happens. I can still use that belt though, just for right now, and whatever the other one comes, then I put it in. And the other thing that I forgot about is you're running like that for 1 hour, 40 minutes, hour and a half, whatever you want. The more the better it is, right? So, and then you just close everything, close them up, and let it sit for another 20 minutes or half an hour. If you have more time, just let it sit for an hour and see if these needles start coming up. If you see them moving, so that means you have a leak somewhere, and you got to check the whole thing out and make sure, you know, that it's not O-rings or something has got to be leaking, and it's not inside the dash. That would be a lot of money to take it apart. So if you see that they stay up 30 for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then you're good. You just fill up the system. And this is one thing that I got to tell you about it. My friend, he said he was feeling like it wasn't getting enough air. There was being cold air. It just was like, it was cold but not too cold. And he bought one of those canned autos so that you can fill this up, right? It's pretty easy to do. You just take it and put it right here where this blue line is. That's the low pressure, that it has the L on it, and the high pressure has the H on it. As you can see here, this is the little cap. It says L. It's the low pressure. He said that he filled up with the refrigerant. He didn't know how much to put in, so that's the thing. I think he blew up the compressor putting too much refrigerant. I think that's what happens, but that's what he says, you know, he put too much. So you got to be careful how much you put into this car. You have to know exact how many it gets. Some cars they get a pound, some cars they get ounces, like 18 ounces, 12 ounces. So you got to know what's going on. On this car, you only get 19.5. So that's what the manual says. So, or if you don't have that kind of stuff, you just keep adding a little bit, little by little at a time, until you feel it's getting cold and cold inside the car. And when you feel like it's cold enough, then you just leave it like that. If you do not have the gauges. Now, if you have the gauges on, then you just look at the gauges, right? At 80 degrees, it should be around 35, 40, or 30, between this, 80, 90 degrees. And at idle, you know, when you're not revving the engine up. And this one should be on a good compressor around 150 to 200. Sometimes it gets to 300, depends how hot it is outside. And all on the AC system, that's what it matters. The temperature outside, you know, it's gonna change. It's gonna be different pressures on the high and low, but you want to keep it around 30, 35, 40, just around there. That's good enough on the low pressure. And the high pressure around 200, 230, 250, and 150, around there. No more than that. You go to 400 and something like that, something wrong with the system, and you might blow the compressor up, or something is going to happen. So that's what we keep it on. My car, my personal vehicle, is around 200, and I have no problems with it. So every single car is going to be different when it comes to how much refrigerant goes in. But on the pressures, you got to keep it pretty much the same pressures, you know, 200, like I said, 30, 35, 40, that is good. When you are at 2000 RPM, this needle is going to be around 20, 25, which is okay. The computer will turn it on and off, so you don't have to worry about it. But idle, you got to make sure that it's about the 200 or 150 and 30 and 40. That's it. So that it's not rocket science. So it's been like 3 hours, maybe more, that I left this thing like that. I turned the pump back off, and you can see that the gauge is still pulling 30 on the vacuum. So now we're good to recharge the system. I got everything connected. We're gonna recharge it now. Just recharge it from the blue one. As you can see, now the high pressure start coming up too. We're gonna need to turn the car on to finish it up. And 50 psi, 60. You do that a little bit so you get enough refrigerant to get the compressor going. Alright, so it's filled up right now. So you can see here it's at 30. As you can see, we're inside the car now, and this thing is putting out 40 degrees. That is super cold. And here is where your filter goes. That's where you need to look at it too. Take it out, clean it out, or replace it. If it's too bad, just replace the thing. They're about $20, and then just pop right in. Super easy. And again, we don't even need all this, computers and everything. We don't need it. I have it, but I don't need it for all that stuff. If I want to do all tests and everything on the blend doors and everything, yes, I do need this. But as you can see, if you try to do it yourself, it's doable. You can do it. So there is no need to pay a lot of money going to the shop. Sometimes you get ripped off in the shop being like, oh, this is going to cost you $2,000. When you can do it for $900 or $800, depends what kind of part you put in, a brand new or rebuilt. But I say always go brand new on the compressors, because those AC compressors rebuilt, they're crap. They're not good anymore. And yes, if you have the computer, you're gonna see if you have some reds in here, that means it's a problem. But we don't have some reds, so we don't even need this. But I'm just showing you that you can buy it if you wanted to, but these things are pretty expensive. And that's it. You see, we just do it, you know, with simple tools. That is not need for the special tools, nothing like that. And that's it. You just do it yourself, save a lot of money, and you know, next time you see your friends having a problem, then you can show them how to do it, or at least, you know, help someone else. That is a good thing. And another thing, make sure both fans are working. As you can see, they're both running. So that's what you want to see. If you see just one is on and the other one is off, sometimes the AC is not going to work good, because at idle it needs all this air coming in from the fans. Now when you're doing 60, 70 miles an hour, you don't need the fans. You're getting 60 miles an hour wind, so you don't need it. As you can see here, the compressor is running, but this is not the clutch. A lot of people might get it confused to be like, oh, the clutch is on, like on the old one that we had, an old one here. That thing was spinning, but that's not a clutch. Remember, this is a clutchless compressor and does not have a clutch. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.